Welcome back to the Citizens Micah podcast. Again, like I just told you, we are here to make conversations that really matter, that really influence decision making in our country, that really influence opinions in our country, which is quite important. I told you today, I have Victor with me here, representing the young people and economic freedom fighters. And I also, economic, because the things we are discussing here, majorly they touch on the economy of the country and also the lives of the people, mwananchi, especially the young people na mwananchi wa kawaida. On the other hand, I also have a representative, I don't know whether to say a representative, but we have Boniface. Ile jina ingine nimesahau. We have Boniface with us here. Of course, I know somehow tuelezea zaidi kuhusiana na serikali, how the government really works. So tuko na yeye, State Department of Trade. Yes. Actually, the things we were just discussing here zinamuhusu tena sana. So, karibu tena. Right now, on the state of the nation, looking at the sale of government assets, we have seen different people coming out, and people are not against, by the way, the sale per se, but the modalities and how it is being done. Some feel like hii inakimbizwa sana. So ingepewa muda kidogo, pengine Kenya ingefaidi zaidi. So I still have my guests here. They are going to help me in breaking down the whole issue. So starting with Victor, how do you understand the whole process of the sale of the Kenyan assets as we speak right now? We are talking of Safaricom, we are talking of the pipeline. Yes. Okay,
thank you. The sale, I don't support the sale of state assets because these are assets that have been built through the Kenyan sweat. It's Kenyans that have funded these institutions, and when we sell them to private to individuals,
yes,
purporting that they will work better when they are in the hands of individuals. Let me ask you a question: why is it that these state departments, as they say, they are unprofitable when they're in the hands of the government, but individuals are willing to buy them? Nobody is really insecure with their money like individuals than the state. The state can take some degree of risk because we are a collective. But if an individual is willing to buy a company, let's say the Kenya Pipeline, the 15% stake in Safaricom, if individuals are willing to invest in that, you want to tell me that they are not profitable? So we have an issue of governance and leadership in this country. For instance, we were just discussing about education and asking ourselves, if we brought this issue of uniforms and said that let the state spearhead this, let them, there are three people who are going to benefit. First, the child will get clothed because it will be a guarantee that you're going to get uniform, and there will be uniformity in the country because of the quality and maybe the size and the color and everything about the uniform. Secondly, the parent is not going to pay more. Is going to pay a subsidized amount for this uniform, or even it can be absolutely free. So exploitation will be cut by half, and the state again will have created employment to young people that are going to be trained to do what? To come up with these uniforms. So when you solve three problems in one versus selling it to like the textile industries, we've sold them to individuals. So individuals are able to monopolize the profits that the state is supposed to make. Individuals are going to make that profit. Look at how important our Kenya pipeline is. It's it's even a security threat to a country to sell it to private hands. There are some, what we call the strategic sectors of the economy. These strategic sectors of the economy should be controlled by the state, because the state is the only department that has been given the authority by all the people to preside over them and to make decision on behalf of the country. But if we go ahead and sell these crucial or strategic sectors to individuals, we are going to be held hostage by individuals. We are going to live at the mercy of these individuals because they are going to control prices, and they are going to do it purely for profiteering, because the state can subsidize products, can subsidize services, but an individual cannot subsidize. So all we are trying to say is this. Uhuru, of course, we agree the tax burden is in the country. The problem started back in 2013. Of course, Moi Kibaki left a debt that was manageable. It was below the debt ceiling of about 1.9 trillion. Close at the highest, it could be 2 trillion. But by the time Uhuru left office, since 2013 to 2022, we had accumulated about 6 more trillion because he left it at 8 trillion national debt. Then after that, William Ruto, in just 3 years, he has brought the debt to 12 trillion in just 3 years. This guy has been able to borrow more than 4 trillion shillings. Now he has seen, we've reached the debt ceiling. What do? He's a very clever guy. Let us create what we call the National Infrastructure Fund. They've created this. And how do we fund this? Let us create a company. They've created, it's actually a registered company. Then after that, let us sell these state assets. Now is the one, they are auctioning this. The question that we're asking ourselves as Kenyans, we are not, reduce the rush. Can you tell us who are these investors? Because we've had scenarios before where these people go outside there, they collect a white skin. Whether this guy is struggling in their country, we don't know. And they pose as investors. Once they come back as investors, they are the people that are now taking over the sale of these state departments. How do we know that these are not proxies of the same people that are beneficiaries of corruption in the state? So individuals are wielding so much power and they have actually taken hostage the state.
These are genuine concerns from Kenyans. Again, but umenikumbusha Adan.
Look at the Adani deal.
You see, listen, number one, the rain started beating us. This regime, the rain started beating us during Uhuru's time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what we are trying to correct. Now, he told us for every 100 shillings,
80 is going for
80
debt
is going
debt
to
repayment.
Debt repayment.
Yes.
So when you try to increase taxes, the Gen Z factor comes in. Now, where do you want us to get money from? Right? And you see, in African culture, when you have an emergency, you get what in Kikuyu tunasema unajishikia ile kitu yako uko nayo kama ni ng'ombe, punda. So what we have as a country
is a pipeline.
Yeah, it's a pipeline. and I think Victor hasn't read the information memoranda on the divestiture. We are giving 35%, yeah, right? And we are giving it not necessarily to individuals, to institutions. Look at Safaricom, for example. Look at Kengen. How are they faring even right now? They are doing very well. They are being run. You see, there is no day a government will succeed in doing business.
Why?
Because government...
That is the question I've always been asking myself. Tumeandika watu kazi pale, wanapata mshahara. Why is it so hard if it is a venture that is supposed to bring profits? Why is it so hard yet there's somebody who is receiving a salary there? Actually, mshahara yao inakuanga mingi. Salary yao inakuanga mingi sana. Why is it that it can't be profitable?
You see, the work of government is to create conducive environment for the private sector to prosper. That is the sole work of government. So now, when you sell state assets, you are raising capital to do infrastructure projects. When you sell state assets, you are raising infrastructure funds to put at the National Infrastructure Fund, so that is seed capital, so that you're able to attract private investors. So that now, when you are doing PPP, you have something. For every shilling we are putting, we are expecting around 4 shillings from private investors, the PPP. So then there is also the sovereign wealth fund, for the sake of our future. Look at Norway, for example. Norway has the biggest sovereign wealth fund. They invest that money for the purposes of the future generation. So when, Victor, you sell part of it, right? You give part of it.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
You see, when we say that because you said that we reached the debt ceiling.
Exactly.
We can no longer borrow as a country.
And you can no longer raise taxes.
And we can no longer raise the taxes because, of course, the cost of living in our country is already high.
Yeah.
That one we agree. So now, what are the reasons why we are at this level? What are the reasons why we are at this level?
Because number one,
we borrowed money because right now, to the tune of borrowing that we've done so far, as a country, we should not be where we are right now. The cost of living should not be where we are right now. Sawa, Rais atasema si makosa yake, ni ya makosa ya nani? Hao wenye walikuwa. That is okay. But now, if we are not fighting the root cause of this problem, hata tukiswitch tuende kule kwa sovereign wealth, to switch tuende kule kwa tuingie huko kwenye kwa infrastructure fund, the same problem. Itakuja itumalize na tushauza. What will we have left?
Actually, that was the question I wanted to ask even before he responds. You've borrowed, you can't borrow anymore. In your house, you've borrowed a lot, you cannot borrow anymore from anyone. You've started auctioning your own TV.
It's not auction.
No, we are just, for example, nakupa tu mfano. Yes.
Your TV, you've taken it to an auctioneer, you've taken to a Shylock guy, he has given you the money. What next? What will be left?
Alafu, acha nikuongezee sasa hiyo scenario yako. Pale ndani uko na mke, kumbe ni mke na watoto wanatumia vitu vibaya kwa nyumba, sawa? Wewe umekopa, ukileta kwa nyumba, kama ni dawa ya meno, mtu anajaza, anapiga mpaka katikati. Au ni mke wako na watoto wako. So they are using the resources vibaya. Ama wengine wanaiba, wanaenda wanapelekea wenzao kule nje, ama mtu anaenda anajibenefit kule. So now mmefikia mali you can no longer borrow. Again, umeenda ukiuzauza vitu, zimeisha. Kwa mfano, zimeisha. So what are you left with? The problem is your wife there. So utakuja ujipate ni mkeo na watoto wako ndo wako na shida. So mimi I'm looking at the issue of corruption in the country. If we will borrow and we cannot account for that money. I have just, in the previous conversation, I had given you an example of the many projects that the government has set, like for the young people, which most of the time, the Auditor General, Controller of Budget, they also always come out and start telling us this. So me, I'm like, you are coming out, you are telling us that this did not work, this did not work. Whose responsibility is it to ensure that kama ni pesa ilikopwa kufanya hii kazi, that all that money has been used so that, because I will not feel so much pain when I'm paying a loan, which I know I can see an industry there. Sita feel wakati ambapo nalipa loan na my cost of ile mkate yenye sahi nanunua 70 bob. Nipate sahi, manake mkate sahi ni 70 bob. Mkate imerudi 50. Ukiniambia nikatwe taxes kule kwa mshahara yangu, I have no problem. Because I can trace, I can tell hii ilifanya hivi. So mimi, my worry is, yes, Mr. President, umetafuta njia badala ya kuhakikisha kwamba Kenya inapata pesa ya kutupeleka kule Singapore. But now, the root problem, the root cause of all these issues, why we have been borrowing, why we are switching off to this other thing, has it really been addressed? That is the problem.
The government is here.
I agree with you partially. You can't sell assets and those funds go to private pockets. What I would advocate, and this is a personal opinion, let everyone take responsibility. We have independent institutions in this country. We have the EACC, we have the DCI, and we have the ODPP. Those are questions, and they're independent bodies. So the president cannot direct them on what to do, but they ought to take responsibility and go after those who are still. That is the only.
Hatuna solution.
Let me just come in, and I think when we were off, I was sharing about China. The reason as to why China has been able to become a world economy from where it was, it's because they control strategic sectors of the economy. Electricity, when we were talking about the uniform issue, you told us that the cost of electricity might not guarantee us the results that we want to see. It's very high. And it's one of the major factors of production in this country. But when the state controls electricity, it's able now to subsidize that electricity and to regulate prices and the cost of this electricity. But can you imagine we've given it to Ketraco has been sold off to Adani. So Adani has to make the entire decision.
Come on.
Right? For instance, they have to make decisions.
No one has
and
such
say what? No, for instance, I'm not hypothetical.
But there was the proposal.
There was the proposal that we fought really hard through Nelson Amenya. So it's something that was planned.
Yeah.
Now it's in the hands of private people. These people can sit and decide, 1,000 shillings to you could have value. 1,000 shillings could not have value to this other person. But for them, they just go by their standards, They will be taking the world by their pace. And sometimes those who cannot catch up in a country, especially Kenya, where 90% of the people, 135 people own wealth that is more than 47 million Kenyans combined, according to the Oxfam report.
You see, and that's why I keep saying...
why do we keep privatizing?
We have a problem. You inherit a lot of problems from previous regimes. For example, the issue of power and the issue of cost of electricity in this country is because of these IPPs, independent power producers.
Actually, that's where I was coming.
You see, you go to a contract, a PPA, you find, I'll give an example, and I won't be afraid to mention it. There's a turbine power plant in Molo. I think it's in Molo. They charge us 45 shillings per kilowatt hour. Do you know what Kenyan charges us? 8 shillings per kilowatt hour. But this guy is protected by a
IPP
contract that is running for 20 years. How now, whether you terminate that contract or not, you are going to have to pay.
So that is what he's talking about. When you give these strategic state assets to individuals, and again, look at those individuals. They are not Kenyan citizens. A majority of them, they are foreigners.
No, but
a majority of them, and even if it is also a Kenyan
for KPC, you're just giving out 35%. The government has still controlling
power.
Yeah, of 66%. So these are things that they are things that maybe we can overcome, but we have to raise funds to run this country. Exactly. For example, there's this we are securitization of petroleum levy fund. We got 175 billion. Right now, all the contractors are back to work because we were able to disperse around 62 billion. Right? So I know we don't have time to talk about development, but the president, through his manifesto, promised the electorate that he's going to develop. He wants to take us to Singapore. How are you going to take us to Singapore if you're not developing? How? Look at the affordable housing, for example. The trickle-down effect on manufacturing through steel, cement, all those textiles. You see. So we have. I know Victor is laughing.
I want to ask you a question about the affordable one. You've used public land, free land. You've not purchased land.
Yeah.
People are deducted. Kenyans are deducted the money to build the houses, but they have to buy back that house, right? Where does this money that I've bought the house going to? Is it going back to ensure sustainability of the program? Is it going to an individual whom we don't know? Is it going to guarantee us and make us not to stop the deductions that are still ongoing? Where does that money go to?
Now, because the uptake, the money we are contributing and the uptake, they are not in tandem. So what Treasury does, part of the proceeds is invested in government treasuries and bills and bonds. So again, and the proceeds from this will go to sovereign wealth fund for the sake of the future generation.
Well, that process of the sale of those state assets, the percentage, don't know, I mean, sorry, not ndindinyoro said, the procedure, I think I think he called on the government to ensure that like hizi zingepelekwa kwa more liquid markets whereby it is easier. You can get an investor who is willing to pay much higher. So I think the problem is for those people who understand the issues of finance and how the government works, it's okay selling a portion of the shares of the government to ensure productivity and effectiveness. That is okay. But then now the procedure, because we feel like these are assets that can fetch us more than whatever the government is rushing to get. I mean, how do you address that?
But number one, we are doing public participation. I think from that, the Committee of Finance will be doing public participation across the country in the 47 counties. Ndindinyoro what is not telling Kenyans, when you start a bidding war, because that's a bidding war, and he's also advocating with Safaricom. You start a bidding war, the process takes longer. What is not telling Kenyans, we are about to go to an election. You start a bidding war, that process takes maybe 4 or 5 months. That's close around August, September. And we are going to an election the next year. What tells Ndindinyoro that if we go to a bidding war right now, we will get a higher value than if we sell these stakes now? Because if you are going to an election and you're telling someone, hey, come and buy KPC shares, but we are having an election in 6-7 months' time. What tells Ndindinyoro that we are going to attract
well, investors tend to shy away, and especially when it is towards elections,
yes.
And whereby they have witnessed a country that is usually,
exactly.
That one it's a factor.
Yes.
But again, so now
and
you
again,
just want to do it hurriedly because of elections.
There's nothing being done hurriedly.
Yeah.
We are following the process. Right now, we are doing public participation. Right?
Wacha public participation ikuje na Wakenya mkuwe sawa, muende mfanye public participation.
Actually, from 3rd of February.
Yeah, we want your contribution into this because tutaki tena tusikie Mkenya hapa nje analia anasema Safaricom iliuzwa, sijui pipeline iliuzwa na hatukupewa nafasi ya kufanya public participation. Again, we are asking the government if it is public participation, because I know myself I will bring a comment. I know somebody else is gonna bring a comment. Please, mchukue comments zetu, mchukue opinions zetu, ideas zetu, pia muziachie. Because the problem with public participation in our country is that it is like it's just a procedure. It's something is done, nini za watu, concerns za watu zinapelekwa kule and they are never considered.
We now have the Public Participation Act. It's going to guide the entire process.
No, we have had public participation on different matters in our country. But now you see, watu wanatoa nini zao na they are never considered.
And that's why the president assented to the public participation bill. Now it's an act. So it's guiding the entire process.
Okay. Haya. I think that is fair enough. So let's meet Wakenya tukutane. Umesema tarehe ngapi?
From that.
From that.
That at KICC.
If you have any concerns around the sale of state assets, please hakikisha pia umetokea kule. You also give your views, you also give your opinion and ideas so that now we see what happens to our country. I think that is all we can say for that, around that. So maybe your final word as we are finishing up.
My final word would be on the same issue of KPC. I want to urge, because I'm seeing a lot of negative sentiments, especially from the opposition, that the KPC is a scam. I want to tell your viewers and the country out there, it cannot be a scam. We had Kengen, we had Safaricom, and they are doing very well. So come out in large numbers. Imagine per share is 9 shillings. 9 shillings. You do a minimum of 200 shares. That's around 20,000. So come out in large numbers. I know it's going to be oversubscribed anyway.
Yeah.
So, it's an investment opportunity.
Sure.
And asante sana.
Nitakuja unikopeshe because I also want to be an owner there. I want to have some shareholding there.
Yeah, and thanks a lot for hosting me.
Karibu.
I hope maybe in 2-3 months' time we are going to come back with a scorecard.
3 months ni mbali, hata 2 ni mbali. Utakuja hapa tena very soon.
So thank you very much.
Karibu.
Aye.
Thank you for the opportunity. All I want to tell Kenyans is that it's your responsibility to protect your country. Our forefathers did not die for this country so that we can live at the mercy of individuals who are at the positions of government and who are politically connected. We need to defend the resources of the nation, especially the strategic sectors of the economy. If we cannot account for 6 trillion that was accumulated since 2013 in debts to date, we cannot also be guaranteed to account for the 5 trillion that we want to raise through the National Infrastructure Fund. So when the public participation starts, make sure that you take part in the process and make sure that your voice counts. And if they don't, the streets are calling. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you to the dear viewer for taking your time to watch this podcast. So until next time, please take care of yourself. Goodbye. My name is Tricia Wayua.